Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Happy Friday to you. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Taking another look here at Solana, seeing what's going on here. 197, up a decent percent from yesterday. Obviously, it's based on Bitcoin pumping towards 100,000, rejecting off that level. Now we're pulling back here after hitting 203. So that just kind of shows and reaffirms that 203 is effectively 100,000 for Bitcoin. It's kind of the same scenario here. So Bitcoin breaks 100K. I think Solana will take off. Between now and then, it's a little too early to tell, right? It's kind of just one of those premature scenarios. You want to wait for the price to actually break out first before you take a breakout trade, right? And you're actually not taking a breakout trade if it's already broken out. That's generally how you want to do it. In other words, we want to backtest that 203 or a solid closure above that before taking any kind of longs or considering them, just so that way you can have more confidence taking a trade. Simple as that. I want to say thank you so much again for being an awesome part of my life. Make sure you hit the like button, comment below if you get a chance. I want to say kudos to my community members here. We got some a new strategy developed with our Premium Plus group. It's working fantastic. I'm going to send out some of those results here soon. Not necessarily the results, but more so like the take profit strategy through Cornix. It works very well, and I'll explain here in a little bit what I mean by that. Between now and then, though, let's take a quick look at Solana, back-end data, liquidation, kind of see where we're at. We can see, again, that 203 to 205, now upwards of 210 to 215. We see extra liquidation coming in here. Basically, these are just a lot of late shorts popping in with high leverage. They shorted the top there at about 203. And with good reason. I totally understand why they did that. I just wouldn't use such high leverage, and unfortunately, these are probably like the 50 to 100x leverage trades right here. Now, granted, they're probably in profit, but most shorts don't secure profits. Unfortunately, they like to wait too long. So if you are in a short, I just recommend, adjust your stop loss as you get into profit and make sure that you're taking profits, because right now the market's kind of jumping in all sorts of directions. But the overall sentiment is that we haven't broken bullish yet, so short positions actually do make more sense. I know it seems kind of contradictory, but I'll explain more about that here in a minute, just as far as what we're seeing with the charts and what we need to see in order for that shift in momentum to occur. We can see 203 to 210 again, just a little easier to recognize here on the macro. And then when we look here, we can see liquidation delta keeps wavering above and below that equilibrium. And that basically just means that we're going to see a breakout here soon. It could even be a breakdown too. Doesn't mean it's going to only go up. But for the most part, the likelihood of further upside makes a little more sense just based on the way that liquidation is starting to accumulate up top. We're getting some momentum. We're starting to see higher highs and higher lows in some cases. Depending on the chart, of course, I haven't seen Solana's smaller timeframes, but for the most part, Bitcoin does look like it wants to kind of retest that $100,000 mark. But once more, it's been the fake out king lately too. Literally, market makers just let everyone decide like, oh, okay, great. We're going to do a fake breakout here and then just dump it. It happens so often. It's kind of getting annoying, honestly. But it's par for the course, this considering where we're at right now. We're in this like the edge of greatness. We either take off and do awesome stuff or we could go back down. We've been stuck in these ranges before, and it's not like an abnormal thing, but it gets a little dicey sometimes. So you just want to be kind of careful. All right, we look at liquidation delta. Sorry, this is open interest rather. We can recognize that 186 and 190 are those two support levels. But we got a ton of resistance at about 207, 208. So we break through 203, we're not going to be out of the woods yet, right? There's going to be a lot of exit liquidity at 208. So just be mindful. That's another potential barrier for us if we get there. Daily time frame. Just to kind of clarify here, there's nothing bullish about this. Most daily timeframes are going to be pretty bearish for the most part. We'll take a look here. We can see we're under 50, 20-day SMA. Obviously, we're above the 200, which is the consolation at best, and we can see we're getting closer to 20 on the money flow index. Generally speaking, a 20 on the MFI will recover in the relative near future because the macro is so overextended to the downside that people are you can only sell so much. You can't sell what you don't have, right? So they're probably I'm willing to guess the bears are running out of product to sell here at this point, and if it wasn't for all the people buying, they wouldn't be able to sell. But the truth is here. At this situation, with MFI being so low, you look at Solana's history, generally speaking, every time the MFI gets closer to this 20-30 mark, it will inevitably recover. Granted, we don't see monumental recoveries in some cases, but they are recoveries nonetheless. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a break of 200 here in the relative near future, pending Bitcoin doesn't run towards the 95K range. Keep in mind, Bitcoin does have a pretty sizable amount of liquidation down at 95,000. So that is a very real thing. So try not to get it twisted here. We're not back on track by any stretch, but there is a bull flag pattern here for Bitcoin kind of trying to break out. It did break out already, but got stunted at 100,000. Okay. So once more, As volume continues to increase with Bitcoin, we should see the same thing here. But generally speaking, we can't never presume that's going to happen. We want to, hope for the best, but not be ridiculous either, right? So anyways, looking at the charts here, we can recognize, first of all, let's just kind of make this simple and easy to see. If you zoom in here, you can see the 20-day SMA hanging out right above the price action. We're still below that, not really a good sign. And again, this is kind of what goes to show here. If you look in the past, these are what breakouts, a lot of failed breakouts. A lot of folks are taking longs right here at these ranges, okay? And with good reason, because that certainly looked like it was ready to break. But if you do take a look at the macro perspective, we're not over the 50-day SMA just yet. So until we are, there's really no reason to really, I guess, warrant a long position at this exact moment. So again, the simple way to understand it, being under the 20-day SMA is not really a good thing to trade into. You want to be above it at the very least and have other confirming factors. This, I do know this for a fact. In fact, we average into our position in these ranges here. We can see here that this area, there was a lot of confluence, but it, again, failed to break out because Bitcoin dumped from like 102 down to like the low 96K range. So again, easy way to understand this is that there's nothing really super awesome about this chart just yet. We're still under 50 on the RSI. Money flow index, while it's coming up, is good. It doesn't necessarily mean we're going to see a breakout. Okay. Now, once more, we're starting to compress in a sense with the macro, with this time frame and the amount of volume in this range. So there's that. So I do feel like an explosion in either direction will happen. In fact, I'm still considering here that this power of 3 might work out too, where the price action reaches this expansive phase. But we need to be able to break 203 and have 100,000 for Bitcoin or higher in order for that to happen. Between now and then, it's best to presume it won't until it does. We're also underneath the cloud, lagging spans kind of free and clear, but the conversion lines of the baseline. This is just a mixed bag of garbage, really. There's no reason to really take a long or a short position based on these metrics alone. So I would avoid taking a trade until we close soundly over 203. And even at that point, I'd be very apprehensive. In other words, watch it close. Don't be a ridiculous idiot that has high leverage and just goes balls to the wall and just goes to sleep with a high leverage trade open. Who does that? I know a lot of people do it, unfortunately, and they typically wake up to a really bad scenario. There's occasions where you're going to get lucky and you're going to think that you're awesome, but truth is that it's not going to last very long because you're going to keep taking high risk trades. Either way, that's all we got here for the moment, folks. I'm recommending my community here for now until we get a solid breakouts over 100K for Bitcoin. Longs with altcoins doesn't make a ton of sense. Now, do you short everything right now? Not necessarily. I mean, you could short a resistance if and when that were to happen, kind of like here at 203. But then again, you run into the problem if Bitcoin does break out. You could be in a world of hurt because altcoins they're ready to recover. They're certainly ready. However, Bitcoin dominance just keeps going up, or while it's plateauing, it still continues to try to go higher, which is insane to me. So we'll see here soon. Anyways, I think it's probably best to wait. Be careful though trading this weekend, folks. Weekends have been notoriously red, and I don't think it's advantageous to overtrade this weekend either. So anyways, I know it sucks to hear, maybe it's best to not trade, but the best trade you can make is one that you don't take in a lot of cases, especially with the garbage market we're in right now. All right, folks, we'll look forward to seeing the next one. Thanks again so much for watching. Have yourself a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.